Okay, so it was time for me to go, to leave my parents' ranch, get a job, and move into the city because I wasn't really doing that well out in the country. Let me tell you what happened. Okay, so it's time for me to leave my parents' ranch. My mom was getting tired of buying me beer all the time and scotch, and all I was doing was laying around getting drunk. So I had to do something. I did get my driver's license, and I scoured the newspaper, and I found an ad for a roommate in San Diego in Pacific Beach. That was cool, Pacific Beach. That was my old stomping grounds. I mean, going back down to Pacific Beach, $200 to be a roommate. This was great. Got my dad, he loaned me the $200, anything to get rid of me. And I went back to San Diego, Pacific Beach, out in the city now. I was out in the country, now I'm back in San Diego city. Anyway, found a job in Mission Valley Mall at a shoe store. I was selling shoes again because I had experience. So, selling shoes, living with this woman named Sophie, a big woman. She lived with Sophie, and she had a big German Shepherd that really smelled, but it was a nice dog. I wasn't a big dog person back then, but it was a nice dog. She was nice. We lived right next to the beach, and she would take the dog for a walk every day at the beach. She would put the dog in the car and drive a half a block to walk the dog on the beach. No, she wasn't really into exercise, I guess. But anyway, that's what she did. So I lived with her for a while, did my job at Mission Valley Mall, taking the bus back and forth. It was a long bus ride. Anyway, an old girlfriend of mine lived in Pacific Beach. We were friends for years. And she had gotten married, and her husband was a manager of a gas station. And he got me a job at the gas station. Here I was working at the gas station in Pacific Beach, a couple blocks from where I was living, and another friend of mine lived across the street from the gas station, and he said I could move in with him. So I moved in with him, had a job at the gas station, and dreams of being a comedian still fresh in my head. Went to the Comedy Store a couple times in La Jolla just to watch comedians. Saw some great comedians back then. Saw Gallagher and Tim Thomerson, and it was fun going to the Comedy Store. Anyway, I still wanted to be a comedian. So this guy that I moved in with, Tony, decided he was going to be my manager. I had a manager. I don't know what I needed a manager for, but I had a manager. And one night at the gas station, this guy dropped $400 and some odd on the ground and drove away. And I picked it up. And all night long I'm thinking of lies. I say I didn't find any money, but he never came back. And that $400. And what did I buy with that $400? A 65 Lincoln Continental, with the suicide doors. And me and Tony, we were on our way up to the Comedy Store, up to Hollywood, because I was going to start doing stand-up. So get up to the Comedy Store. You should sign your name on the list. I had a list on the door. You'd sign up at 5 o'clock, and you get a spot that night. I went in there to get my spot, and I went up there. It was high on speed and stuff. And I had no idea what I was doing, but I killed. I did great. I was fantastic. I don't know what the hell I did. I had no material, no jokes, nothing, but I killed. Oh my goodness. So the next night I decided, found another open mic, and I went there, and I bombed. I sucked, but that's okay. Anyway, me and Tony were hanging out, living in the Lincoln Continental. It was kind of sad. It was a sad thing. We didn't have any money for food or nothing. And so we were shooting dope, and we had enough money because he had a friend up in L.A. in the projects and brought us some heroin. We were shooting up some heroin, and then went back to San Diego and sold the car. Went back to San Diego, sold the car, and figured I'd start all over again, and I would go back to Hawaii because I had some friends in Hawaii, and I had almost enough money for a plane ticket. A friend of mine gave me the rest of the money. I called up some friends that I had in Hawaii, and off I went back to Hawaii. I landed in Hawaii with literally $5 in my pocket to chase my dream once again. Let me tell you what happened. So please subscribe, like, share, and I will tell you some more of the story. If you don't mind, if you can, it helps support the channel. Please buy me a coffee. That QR code will come up at the end if you've made it this far. And I thank you so much for watching. Anyway, talk to you later, and have a wonderful, wonderful life. See you soon.